Good afternoon, Brown community, and all of the Emma Chamberlain friends and fans tuning in today from wherever in the world you may be. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to the 7th in our series of 15 Brown Fashion Week talks, which are being broadcast live from the campus of Brown University here in beautiful Providence, Rhode Island. I'm Sasha Pinto, the president of Fashion at Brown, and oh my goodness, what fun we're going to have today because we're visiting with Emma Chamberlain. And considering that Emma shares her life with us every week, she really needs no introduction. But for the one or two of you who may have been living on a deserted island or perhaps lost in a Brown library for the last few years, let me fill you in just in case. So the New York Times called her the funniest person on YouTube. W Magazine says she's the most interesting girl on YouTube. The Atlantic named her the most important YouTuber, while Cosmo just called her the most popular girl in the world. So I think we're all seeing a trend here. Not to mention that Time Magazine included Emma on their list of the 25 most influential people on the internet, and Forbes put her on their 30 under 30 list for social media. In other words, Emma Chamberlain is an internet phenomenon with a staggering 9.95 million subscribers on YouTube and 12.4 million followers on Instagram. Wow. And it all started in 2017 when Emma uploaded her very first video to YouTube. And of course, she was as close to an overnight sensation as you can get. In 2019, she launched her first podcast, Stupid Genius, which immediately shot to #1 on iTunes in over 50 countries. And this year, she's launched a new podcast titled Anything Goes, in which she shares, well, anything. But Emma doesn't stop there. She's been involved in myriad other projects, from being the brand ambassador and creative director for Bad Habits Skincare, as well as the brand ambassador for PacSun's spring and summer collection, plus, and my personal favorite, a friend of the house to Louis Vuitton, introducing a new generation to an iconic brand. And to think she's done all of this and she's not even 20 years old yet. So if you're wondering what fuels Emma's crazy creativity, it is, of course, her fabulous Chamberlain coffee that she founded in 2019. And well, we all became immediately addicted. So suffice it to say, Emma has changed the world of online video. She's the next great thing and the current great thing all at the same time. And we're so thrilled to have her with us today. So please join me in a huge welcome for the amazing Emma Chamberlain. Hello, Emma.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. And I've just got to start by thanking you so much for being here. Everyone is so excited. And after all, you went to Paris Fashion Week, so Brown Fashion Week was the obvious next step, right?
Oh my God, duh. Actually, I didn't even get to go to Paris this year. So this is like my first interactive Fashion Week experience of the season.
Oh my God.
Kind of watching the show, the Louis Vuitton show, but it's not the same. Like, I want to be there. I can't wait until we can all be together and be there.
I know. Well, hopefully you can come to an in-person Brown Fashion Week next year. But
yes,
that would be so much fun. And I had to laugh the other day when I heard you mention on your latest YouTube video that you feel like you're living the same day over and over again. And we feel that way on campus, but chatting with you today certainly changes things up for us. So thank you for saving us from another Groundhog Day.
No, thank you. It's really the same for me. I've been in bed for, well, I'm still in bed, but I've been in bed for like 2 weeks. But, you know, it's all right.
No, it's fine. There's nothing better to do. Totally. But Emma, let me tell you a little bit about the students you'll be chatting with today. Daniela Siegel, whom you know, and Emma Rosenkranz. And yep, we have 2 Emmas today, so that should be fun. So Emma Rosenkranz is Fashion at Brown's wonderful vice president. She's a sophomore from New York City studying literary arts and thinking about double concentrating in business and entrepreneurship. Ooh. And in her spare time, Emma writes poetry, narratives, and songs, and has founded a successful e-commerce jewelry business. And Daniela Siegel, our other moderator, actually interned with Emma's PR team last year. She's a freshman considering modern culture and media as her major and has taken summer programs in fashion and communications at Parsons in New York and Paris, FIT, and Cornell. And Dani also launched a bikini pop-up business called 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐿 for Kindness, donating a portion of the proceeds to charity. Wow. Okay, so with that, Let's welcome Danny and Emma to the Zoom stage.
Hello, Sasha and Emma.
Hi, Danny.
Guys.
Hi, Emma.
Thank you, Sasha, so much for the introduction. And Emma, wow, we are so excited to have you here today.
Okay, fabulous. So now that we're all here, I will sign off. Oh, wait, Emma Rosenkranz, what is that I see in your hand? Is that what I think it is?
What do you mean this?
Wait, I'm drinking Emma's coffee too.
Oh my goodness, I'm also drinking Emma's coffee. I love Chamberlain coffee.
Thanks, guys. Look at that. Oh my God, I love it.
The official drink of Brown Fashion Week. We just can't get enough of it. It's the reason why we can pull off 2 weeks of no sleep.
That's exactly what I love to hear.
Well, now that we're all here and look, oh my gosh, I am out of coffee. I'm gonna go fill up my cup and catch you guys later. So have fun and I'll see you later.
Bye.
So, hey, Emma, it is so nice to see you again. And we are so grateful for your time today and are thrilled to speak to you.
I'm so excited. Thank you for having me.
So I've been drinking your coffee for a while now, and I know that my mom, who's currently watching, has her Chamberlain coffee in hand.
Yes.
So we know that you adore coffee, but what drove you to get into the business?
Well, I believe my coffee journey started really young. I mean, my whole family loves coffee, big coffee drinkers. I definitely grew up around it. And when I got to high school, I was very much into, like, I mean, you guys get it. Like, I was studying, I was taking all the honors and AP classes and all of that. And so in order to get everything done, I needed a little external source of energy. That was coffee for me. I fell in love with just like, having it a part of my daily routine. And also, my family and I would go and get coffee on the weekends, and it was just sacred for some reason. And then when I started my YouTube channel, I included coffee a lot in it, and people started to associate coffee with me. And I just fell more and more in love with it. And eventually, I was talking to my team, who's just so amazing. And I was young, but I was like, this is something I want to be a part of. I want to like do something with this at some point. And they were like, well, let's think about it. And then over time, we were like, let's just make a coffee company. Like, let's do it. And I was like, please, like, this is all I've ever wanted. My dream had always been to be a barista or something of that sort. So this fell in line with that perfectly. And yeah, that was that.
It's so like remarkable how far you've come at such a young age. I mean, Danny and my age, the viewers that are watching today, and you've just brought so much joy to everyone. I mean, especially during this very strange time in our world. So let's go back to the beginning, reflect back to those early days of your YouTube channel. Tell us about that.
First, thank you so much. That means so much to me. Well, it started in, I believe, 2017. And I remember I took my driver's test as a 16-year-old and I failed. And I was already depressed, like bad, which is dark, but I mean, we've all been there. And like bad. And so when I failed my test, I was just like, that just was the last straw, right? And I just had a meltdown. And my dad told me, you need a hobby. You need something that will give you a sense of confidence, a sense of self-worth. Like, you just do school and that's it. You're not doing anything else. Of course you're depressed. You know what I mean? That's not going to help. Besides the fact that it's a chemical in your brain, but still, like, it would help for you to have a hobby. And so I was like, all right, what should I do? And he was like, well, you should make a YouTube channel, because he had seen me make a YouTube channel like 3 times before in my life, all failed. I deleted all of it, blah, blah, blah. But this time it stuck, and it was the beginning of summer. So I spent the whole summer just making YouTube videos, and it was great because it was a creative outlet for me, and I had all the time in the world to do it. I did not read my summer reading books that year, to say the least. But by the end of the summer, things had kind of blossomed, and I had probably like 100,000 subscribers, which was like unbelievable to me. I was like, how did this happen so fast? And then it all went from there. But that was kind of the beginning. And that summer was so crucial because I just was making videos every day and just was trying to figure out what my style was and what my voice was going to be. And by the end of the summer, I think I had a good idea of what that was.
Yeah, so we've seen you film in your childhood bedroom, partnering with your first brand deals to now sitting front and center at Paris Fashion Week. I personally admire your style and how you mix and match low with high-end brands. So you're now collaborating with Louis Vuitton and many other huge designers. How would you define your style, and are you more of a maximalist or a minimalist?
That is so, it's so crazy because I always try to figure out a word to explain what my style is, but I kind of look at it in a similar way to like even my YouTube videos. Cause I'm not like a cooking channel. I'm not necessarily a daily vlogger. I kind of do all of it. And I feel like I do the same with my clothes. I'm all over the map. Sometimes I'm going to wear a full Louis Vuitton outfit and like, crazy makeup and the whole thing and a bag and like whole 9 yards. And then the next day I might wear a white tank top with old Levi's and call it a day with Converse. And then the next day I might wear like a full leather outfit. Like it's all over the map with me. And it's kind of whatever makes me feel good. And that's kind of the underlying theme. I don't really have like a specific genre that I stick to when it comes to clothes. And so that's why it's so hard to pinpoint. But it's honestly just like whatever is fun and comfy for me that day. And sometimes comfy doesn't mean comfy. If I like want to dress up, that might be the comfy for me that day. But it's so all over the map because anything I see that inspires me, I'm not going to not do it because it's so different from my last outfit. I try not to put myself in a box like that because I feel like that takes all the fun out of fashion.
Yeah, and I think that's honestly what has made you so successful is just your authenticity, and you've brought your viewers for so many years just on this path of your own self-discovery, along with, viewers growing up with you. So having a sense of, what you love and what you loathe, still trying to figure that out, but having created your personal brand and thinking about your businesses, how do you decide which brands to partner with and what ideas to pursue?
Totally. I think it's just, baseline. What am I excited about? What makes my eyes light up and my brain light up? It's almost like I'm looking at myself from an out of body, like this sounds psychotic, but like
Right.
I'm looking at myself from above and being like, okay, how does baby Emma feel about that? And it's true though. It's like, I have to trust my instinct. And so if my instinct immediately upon hearing something is excitement, I'm going to pursue that immediately. But if red flags subconsciously come up when I'm discussing a potential opportunity, that's usually a sign of no for me. It's also obviously something that I believe in and that I'm passionate about, and I refuse to do anything that is just kind of for nothing should be surface level. I think, and my approach is I don't want to do anything surface level. I want to genuinely love what I'm doing and who the brands that I'm working with. And if not, people feel that, they see that, they can tell like, oh, she doesn't care about that, and I don't ever want that. I want and I want the trust between me and the people that decide to hang out with me every week or whatever, or every day on the internet. Like I want to have that trust with those people. And that's a really hard thing to develop. But I think that the first step to that is being true to yourself about, okay, is this a genuine relationship between me and a brand, or is this a genuine project? And if the answer is yes, then it's a win all around for everybody.
Right.
Yeah, so you've now taken on a big position with the partnership Bad Habits, being named their global brand ambassador and creative director. What drew you to this company?
It was so interesting. So, I get samples of products or like, PR products, here and there. And I always try things out. I love to do that. It's how I find new brands that I love. And it's something I'm so grateful for when it comes to, doing this and being on the internet, is that I get I get to try so many new things. And I got some samples for the Bad Habit line before it came out. Actually, it wasn't even a company yet. So everything was unbranded. There was no branding on it or anything. And it was just in these little containers. And I tried everything out. And I really fell in love with it. And I had just gotten off Accutane. And so my skin was kind of this blank canvas where I was starting to figure out like, okay, what works for my skin post 7 months of a crazy acne medication. And I tried these products out and they just really worked for my skin. And I didn't know what was in them or anything. All I knew was my experience. It was like a blind date with the product. And I fell in love with them. And then I, was like, hey, can we have a call? Because I really like this. And I want to know more. And then they showed me the whole, kind of skeleton of what the brand was going to look like once it launched. And I fell in love with the brand messaging. And I was like, this is genius. It's an honest skincare company, something that I've never seen before. Everything's so about perfection and all that and bad habit. It was like, no, we want honesty. And I was like, hello, I love that. And so it was just such an organic relationship. And it was cool to be introduced to them before they were even on the market.
Wow. Yeah. So during such a unique time in our world, being isolated in our homes during quarantine, how did you manage to stay so creative and productive during this difficult time?
I definitely have not been like the whole time. I mean, I think I'm just now starting to figure it out actually, like within the past 3 or 4 months. The first few months I had a really hard time. I mean, I was kind of just having a hard time in general. It was like adjusting to this new way of life, of course. I was on Accutane, so I was on the acne medication that was kind of taking a toll on me mentally, physically, whatever. And so it was hard for me to be creative. I wasn't really super creative, to be honest. Like I feel like my content then was not my strongest, just because I was, it was such a weird time. But recently, it's just been adapting and like realizing, okay, I can't film myself going on trips. Like we've been in this for too long. I need to adapt. So it's like trying to figure out how to make doing stuff in my house as interesting as possible. And honestly, just making my videos more conversational and that being the creative element, it's like, okay, how am I going to make an interesting conversation? That's kind of where the creativity is gone. Whereas it used to be, how am I going to make the viewer feel like they're on a trip with me when I go and I travel? It's like, there's not that element anymore. I had to simplify things a lot. And it's coming to terms with the fact that we're in a really complicated, but yet painfully simple time. So I need to make that painfully simple, like my painfully simple life right now look interesting, feel interesting. And so I do that by just like talking and like, just like, being honest, like this is really what it is. But I also think it's like not giving up. And just, it's like, even if I have 2 months of videos that I'm not proud of, just once it's up, forget it and move on to the next one. And if you keep doing that and you don't dwell on the past, eventually you'll figure it out.
Yeah, and I love that what you said, painfully simple time. I mean, I think everyone that's watching this and beyond, feels that right now. And you also talk a lot about almost like a plan B, like we're all down our own paths, but you have to stay creative. And I think since the beginning, viewers have always been so drawn to you because, of course, your videos are funny and they're interesting. You started trends with your unique editing style, but also because of your authenticity, which you've been talking a lot about, and your vulnerability. And you've always been so transparent about your mental health in your videos. And I think when you're willing to put your heart out on the line, others are too, and you make that so evident. So why did you decide to be vulnerable, put your heart out for your audience? And do you ever find it difficult knowing that your personal life is being shared with millions of viewers?
Well, it's interesting because when I very first started, I did not, I'm talking about the first few months, right? I definitely wasn't super vulnerable just because that wasn't natural. I had not really seen anything like that yet. And so I just like was kind of following what everybody else was doing. So I was just like, this is my favorite necklace that I have. Like that was all I knew what to do in the beginning. But I started to feel like it was so disposable. I was like, what's setting me apart? Because you can go look at, people who have way better style than me and find out what kind of necklace to buy. Like I need to figure something else out here. So, after making probably 20 videos, I started to realize, like I'm bored. Like, I just want to be me. Like, I can't keep up this subconscious facade, because I didn't realize I was putting on a facade, but I totally was in the very beginning. And I was like, but I kind of realized, like, this is not comfortable for me. And so I just started making the videos personal, like as if I was talking to a friend, because that's actually what ended up being more fun to me. So even though, you know, it was vulnerable, because not that many people were watching, it wasn't that scary. And it was actually in turn more fun for me to make, because it was like, I'm venting, you know, it was so much more natural to just talk to the camera like it was a friend. And as kind of weird as that sounds, it felt good, and it clicked for me. And so the more I kept doing it, the more comfortable I kept getting. And then as my following grew, I didn't see a reason to change, because people were actually connecting with that. It was working. And so I was like, well, this must be something that people need. And then I thought about it more too. And I was like, okay, wait, when I was younger, you know, growing up watching YouTube instead of TV, I didn't see a lot of vulnerability. I saw a lot of, you know, girls pretending that their lives were perfect and their little DIY projects were perfect. And don't get me wrong, they were killing it in that element. Absolutely no shade to them whatsoever, but it's like, I realized that I kind of had become something that I had wanted to see as a kid, and something that I needed, because growing up on the internet is so kind of gross, because everything's kind of fake, no matter, even me, things look better than they are 1,000%. And so, but I just thought that you know, I started to see that there was a room for it, and that it was actually like needed. And so that's kind of where that came from. And that keeps me inspired too, because I'm like, well, people need this type of vulnerability on the internet, because there's not enough of it. And so, and it's comforting, you know?
Yeah.
And it can be kind of uncomfortable and scary, but I feel like because I've been doing it since day one, it's very natural.
Yeah. So first of all, your videos are so comforting, and you are so authentic in all of your content. But what has been the greatest learning experience and the biggest hurdle with starting all of your own businesses?
I think just accepting that, you know, like, I think I have a sense of insecurity at times, because, you know, I took a different life path in a sense, and like, I didn't go to college and stuff like that. And sometimes that makes me feel slightly insecure, because I'm like, you know, what do I know, right? And I think that that's been a big hurdle, is just like accepting that, you know, my life experience is my life experience, and I'm relying on my instincts, and like, that's just what works for me. And what works for people is so different for everybody. And you know, it's hard to sometimes feel like you're good enough to be doing what you're doing. It's like, and feel credible enough to do what you're doing. And I remember even when I got invited to my first Louis Vuitton show, I was like, why are you guys inviting me to this? And there's no way I'm cool enough to be here. But I think what I've learned is that, you know, you live one life, you have one life. Don't waste it feeling like you're not good enough to do things. Just, if you get an opportunity, seize it, and believe that you are more than capable of doing it, and that will come true. And I think that that's what's been, you know, hard for me mentally, is just not beating myself up in those ways. And also just that it takes a lot more work than I would have ever expected. But I think that comes with anything. It's like you never realize what you're getting yourself into until you're 6 months in. But you know.
Yeah, no, it's just so great to hear you say that, because I mean, again, like at such a young age, like you've just experienced so much and have made such, you know, remarkable accomplishments. And just being able to show your authentic self to everyone watching, I think just allows us as the viewers to then say, wow, do we all, like you said, do we all put on personal personas? Like, how can we strip that down to show the real us? So talking about the viewers, we are going to move on to our audience question of this event. And we received, I mean, pages and pages and pages of questions insane. Everyone says they love you. So thank you so much to our audience. And our first question comes from Rachel Bloomstein. She attends Brown University. She's from Manhattan. And Rachel asks, what is your thought process when you go thrifting? Do you shop with certain trends in mind, or do you pick whatever your heart desires? What do you think summer 2021 trends will look like?
Okay, when it comes to thrifting, well, number one, thank you, Rachel. But when it comes to thrifting, I mean, again, I think because my style is so all over the place and it's so like, you know, whatever makes sense in my brain in that moment, whether it's on trend, not on trend, random, like I just don't create rules for myself like that anymore because I just think it's exhausting. And as much as that can be fun too, when it comes to thrifting, you're really working with a blank canvas. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you don't know what you're going to get. So, I mean, I like to take a lot of time. I like to spend a lot of time, be in there, you know, for 3 hours and just get in there. And I think my main, you know, strategy is to remember that, you know, everything is so affordable that you can kind of switch it up if you want. Like, let's say you find a pair of pants and you're like, these would be really cute as shorts. You can do that because chances are you're spending, you know, $2 on them. So you don't have to feel bad about making them a little bit more you. And that's what I love so much about thrifting is like, I'm always cutting things up, you know, having my mom help me sew things, like whatever it may be, to make it perfect for me. And that's that. But also don't stick to just like go in every section. You never know what you might find. Like even the kids accessories section, you might find a cute little weird bag that like you would have never guessed that you would like, but you like. I have a kid's bag that I wore the other week because it's so cute, but it's literally for children. You wouldn't know though. And so you never know what you're going to find. Have an open mind. As for summer 2021, I mean, for me personally, I mean, for right now, what I know is that I will be wearing cutoff Levi's probably 90% of the time. But I also want to get into like long flowy skirts because I've never done that, but I have been seeing them recently and they're so cute with like a little wrap top. Like it's just, I don't know. I want to get into it and I'm ready for it. And I don't know, lots of bright colors and charm necklaces and different kinds of big chunky glasses, like whatever it may be, I'm down for all of it. That's kind of what's on my radar right now though.
Yeah, I'm loving the long flowy skirt idea. I can't wait to see all the photos. But from Mira Perez from Norwalk Community College, who's studying business and law, asks, I'm a college student who has started my own business selling cosmetics and it has been a hard time creating content. What would you say is the best advice for getting started as a business owner?
Well, don't be discouraged about being frustrated with the Instagram thing. It's really hard as a business to figure out how to make an engageable, not a word probably, but like an Instagram that, you know, is like on brand, but also not too brand heavy. It's a very, very delicate balance. And even, you know, with Chamberlain Coffee, I struggle with it. And I mean, I like have my own personal Instagram, but it's still a struggle. I would say when it comes to making social content for a brand, the key is to make content that you would want to see on your feed, that you would like. And don't stop thinking about what everybody else would like. Stop thinking about what, you know, you think is going to do well. Do what you would want to see because at the end of the day, you can't please everybody. So pleasing yourself first is the most important. And honestly, there's going to be a lot of like-minded people like you that are going to like the same stuff you like. So if you like it and you're proud of it, that's going to do better than anything else in following any other trend.
That is fabulous advice. I think a lot of people are going to be taking that. So the next question comes from Shannon Gillahan. She's from Michigan, and she says, hi, Emma. Do you feel like creating content and entertaining was always a natural part of your personality? Or do you feel like as you become older, you realize that this was what you truly wanted to pursue?
I definitely always, it's weird to think about because I think I was kind of into being on camera, and when it came to school projects where it was like a video project, I was stoked beyond belief. Or even when it came to presenting in front of the class, I really enjoyed that, which I feel like now I've reversed, and if I had to do that now, I'd be extremely nervous. So I don't know what happened there, but regardless, I did like that. I kind of liked performing. I was a cheerleader. I liked performing in a sense. So I think in a way that was there, but at the same time, I never had any interest in being an actor or anything like that. And so I think this was very much the perfect fit, because I did like, the kind of center of attention thing, but I also didn't, because it was a weird thing. I really can't explain it, to be honest, but I do think that YouTube is perfect because I get to, be in front of a lot of people, but it's not too direct. So it's this perfect, healthy balance. And I also don't have to be around anybody to make YouTube videos. I can be completely by myself, which is very nice for me because I don't like being around a lot of people.
Great. So that goes right into our next question from Rachel from Texas State University. Asks, if you were to start social media now, what would you do differently from when you first began?
I think if I were to start now, I'd probably be doing exactly what, it's so hard to know, because it took me, 4 years almost now to like figure out what my voice was. And it's not something that I think came to me necessarily overnight. It's taken me 4 years. So I think if I were to start now, I probably wouldn't be as authentic as I am right now. And that wouldn't be, it would be like something that's out of my control, but I just wouldn't know how to do that. But I do think if I were to start now and I had the brain I had now, I would say, never like, don't be on Instagram every day. Don't be on YouTube every day. Don't be on TikTok every day. Now it's like in my daily routine. Like I've been doing this for years, checking it every day, checking everything all the time. And so I have to force myself to stop. But if I were to start now, I would make it a very hard habit to post and put my phone down every time without fail. And make that muscle memory before it's too late.
I think they definitely need to try that out, because I feel the exact same way. I think so many people do. So the next question is one of my favorites. I love this question. It's from Anastasia Chase. She attends RISD and she's concentrating in graphic design. She calls Massachusetts her home. And Anastasia asks, from watching your Instagram stories, I've noticed you've been sharing more of your face. This is really inspiring because I have a hard time with the way my complexion looks. I'm wondering if sharing this with your followers is something that comes easily to you, or do you feel pressure from the Instagram and TikTok community to appear a certain way?
Well, I totally understand this, for one. I mean, it's hard because, when you're on the internet every day and you want to post every day, that's great and all, but it's like, some days you're not going to be feeling your cutest. You know what I'm saying? Some days you wake up and you're like, hell yeah. And some days you wake up and you're like, I don't want to even look in a mirror today. It's human. But, when part of the algorithm is like being consistent on Instagram, you might feel that pressure for sure to post your face all the time. I think what I've realized over time is that people don't really care about whether or not you have acne. And I know that because I've struggled with acne. I mean, I don't struggle right now because I was on Accutane for 6 months, but 7 months, whatever. But, I struggled with acne for so long, and I pushed through it and posted my face and everything anyway. And that made me so comfortable. Like pushing through that slight discomfort made me feel more comfortable. And so now, I'm like, nothing can stop me. I'm like, you know what? I don't care. Like I can do anything. I got through the worst of my acne and was posting my face through that. It's like, and look, people were still saying nice things about me. Some people were saying mean things, but people were still saying nice things about me. Even when I felt like I looked bad, pushing through that and proving that nothing really goes wrong, nobody stopped being my friend, you know, stuff like that. It's like everything was okay. And proving that to yourself is really important. But it's hard and it's an ongoing journey. I go through different phases of it all the time. Sometimes I'm like, I can't do it. Some days I'm like, I don't care. Some days I'm like, you know, I feel like I look good. So yes, I want to pose my face. It's all over the map. And that's just the human element of all of it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's really great advice. And so from Claire from Toronto asks, do you ever think of what your life would be like if you didn't start YouTube? Does it scare you to think about how different it could have been?
You know, it's weird. I think about it here and there, but I make a conscious effort to very much live in the moment, and that goes for looking ahead or looking behind me, because you know, you can't change what's done. So no, it doesn't scare me because this is the cards I was dealt. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. There is nothing I can do about the past. It is over. So you know, but it is fun to think about what it would have looked like where would I have went to college? What would my job have been? Like, who knows? Who would I have met? It's super interesting to think about for sure. Doesn't frighten me, but more is just interesting. But again, I try not to think too much about what isn't in the present because I find it does not help with my anxiety at all.
Yeah, I agree. Like you could just hark on the shoulda, coulda, woulda for forever.
Totally.
So I think the live in the moment aspect is so important. So our next question comes from Chance Emerson. He attends Brown University. He is majoring in archaeology and computer science. And I know that he is currently zooming in from the mountain somewhere. He'd let me know that. So Chance asks, how have you balanced the need to grow your following with the need to keep that following by remaining authentic?
This is also interesting because I think a lot of influencers, don't know what other word to use, you know, feel this pressure to like have this crazy exponential growth constantly. And I totally understand that fear because a lot of influencers take a crazy risk, you know, to do this. Cause it's like, number one, it's not necessarily the most well-respected thing. And, you know, a lot of people are like, that is not going to last. That's the main thing that, you know, you're told if you decide to do this. And that's fine. You know what I mean? It may not last. That's the way I look at it. I'm like, you know what? I can't control if somebody's going to click the subscribe button. I can't control if somebody's going to click the follow button. I just can't. There's nothing I can do. And, you know, you can make these kind of shallow moves to gain a following really fast. But that is what doesn't last. If you just put your real authentic self out there, create content that excites you, to the best of your ability. It's not always possible, and you're not always going to be thrilled with everything. But if you just, you know, focus on creating the content as if nobody's watching, that is the key because people feel that authenticity and they feel that realness, and it doesn't feel like a sellout thing. It's like genuine, and then, you know, people stick around. And guess what? If they don't, there's nothing I can do. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to do my best. And so, and if it all went away tomorrow, it's like, I don't care. I had fun with it, and I'd figure something else out, whatever. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like taking that pressure away and being like, you know what? I don't care about staying relevant. You know, I don't care if like, I'm not doing the most trendy thing ever. It's like the main priority is to be authentic. And as I continue to do this, I realize that more and more and more and more, especially through quarantine. I think the last 4 to 5 months, I've realized that truly more than I ever have throughout my whole YouTube experience thus far. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So we are nearing the end of our talk today, but we have such a diverse audience here, some who love fashion, some entrepreneurs, and some who love computer science. What is the best piece of advice you've received throughout your career, and what advice do you give to your audience here today? All behind the screens.
I would say the best advice I've ever received was probably from my dad. And it was about not, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, but it's about like, once you post something, once you create something, once you turn in a test, once you turn in a project, I don't care what it is, once you complete something, you don't look at it again and you never look at it again. It's like, well, you can look at it again, but you get what I'm saying. You don't dwell on it. You can dwell on it all you want while you're working on it, but once it's done, it's done. And, move on to the next thing immediately. And that's the best advice I've ever received, because I feel like that's what keeps things moving and keeps you growing and keeps you evolving. And my advice for everybody else would be that, for sure. But also just, I think, realizing sometimes that like everything in the moment feels so big and like it's the end of the world, and like you'll never figure it out and all of this, but things always work themselves out. Nothing is as big of a deal as it seems right now. And whatever it is that you're stressed about right now, I can guarantee in a month will feel like nothing. And that's something I needed to hear today. And I just said it to myself pretty much. So there it is.
Well, those are such beautiful words to end on. And I know that they're going to resonate and inspire students in the Brown community and anyone else tuning in today. Just beyond words, Emma, thankful for you to be here today. And just, it's such a privilege. So thank you again. And for our audience members tuning in, we have so many more fashion events. We have Gwyneth Paltrow, Stella McCartney, the costume designer for Euphoria, for Game of Thrones, Mamma Mia, etc. So please tune in. And Emma, thank you again. A final cheers.
Cheers. No,
Coffee,
thank you
everyone.
guys. It was so much fun. And
Thank you.
I love talking to y'all.
You too.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.